Namaste, namaste, beautiful family of light. Baba Sharon here. So, I wanted to take a moment to actually, I have this beautiful, powerful name. I've used it more than once. It is coming from the great work of the Hertax, Dr. J.J. Hertax, the Academy of Future Science. That we work with the names of God, very powerful mantras and vibrations. It is called the 72 Sacred Names of the Holy Spirit. And we are in the season of the Holy Spirit. Lots and lots going on with that. I also have a beautiful Gnostic prayer that I'm going to share with everybody, including those that are on Facebook Live. And I'll go into that in just a moment. But before, I wanted to talk about actually last week, I did see the Disclosure Day by Spielberg. And of course, there was a lot of information about that. And for myself and for others like us, this is nothing new to us. We are very aware. I find it interesting. I really do feel that there is the disclosure has been coming around for quite some time through light workers, right? Through the light workers. So those are the ones, maybe some people say with a tinfoil hat, okay, but we have been aware of this. And most certainly in the generation that we come from, the whole idea from Dansky from back in the 1940s, even earlier than that. Okay, the collective consciousness was where this information was going around. So it's been for decades now. And many people talk about, President Eisenhower, the connection to that. And then you start seeing movies like Men in Black. You start seeing, the original one, Encounters of the Fifth Kind, I think it was, with Spielberg, and of course, Trekkies, hey everybody. Okay, that so this is all this implementation. I think there's many layers to it, and most certainly one of the layers is our ongoing collective unfolding of our unconsciousness, a wider breadth of understanding and awareness, okay, coming more and more. Let's move that. Moving more and more into the understanding of our interdimensional reality of who we truly are, right? So this is again where we are in our own evolution, in our own expanding consciousness, being reflected back to us in the exterior because it's all one, right? So the macro and the micro. But where we are now, and you always have like the bell curve, the ones that are way, way ahead of the curve, the ones that are ahead of the curve, in the average, and the ones behind, right? I would say we are way, way ahead of the curve. Okay. So the movie itself, which was done very well, but it wasn't anything new that I didn't already know. But it's important for those of us that are aware, that are very awake, okay, and the understanding that disclosure on a massive level is now coming in, okay, and then we also have our roles with that because you have to understand there are people that are into a indoctrination, okay, you figured back in the Middle Ages or before, they had a Galileo and what was the guy that they killed? He was a monk. I forget who he is right now, Giorgiano. I could have a statue of him. But they were saying, we really don't think the sun goes around the earth. I think it's the other way around. The earth goes around the sun, and people have lost their lives because they had to open their mouth. But then finally, of course, that was the deal. Of course, I know there's the flat earth people out there, but let's just say we're on the thing that this is a globe, okay? And for the longest time, it was said that if you said the earth was flat, and that's you could fall off. And that was in the consciousness of so many people. I mean, that was a real deal. Like, no, you're gonna fall off. No. So all I'm saying is that this is evolving, unfolding levels of what? Awareness. Awareness. And for many of us who made a choice to be here at this particular time, we or have been even in Maya, even in this matrix, which is pretty thick, okay, it's pretty hard. You're up against a lot of distortions, a lot of distractions, but somehow have kept your path. Okay, may drop off, get back on, but you've kept moving on your path of discovery, awareness, and following that soul impulse that's pulling you to this higher light of consciousness, to this higher level of awareness. And many of us, okay, like from the beginning, as little kids, they look up at the stars. They say, we can't be the only one in this multiverse. That doesn't make sense. And I do remember I always thought that as a kid, but it wasn't until it really hit and how it did for me. I read a book by Sylvia Brown, and she just had a sentence in there. And she said, oh, they've been here. And in that moment, I know it was true. And it is a paradigm shift because I remember saying, oh my God, it's really true. And that changes everything. That changes everything. Now, that's old hat. That was a long time ago. But I went through my process to integrate it and to be at peace with it and stay in my center regarding the reality that we are not the only beings in this multiverse and that we will be, as a planetary consciousness, rising up to finally now begin to meet others. Now, it's important. Just like here, you have the good, you have the bad, you have the ugly. Okay, it's not just here, it's the whole universe. And that's where I feel that those of us that are aware and have been aware for a long time can be a stabilizing force for those people who might panic. To have a paradigm shift where you thought things were a certain way, and then all of a sudden, it's like the rug is pulled under you. That is a very destabilizing event. And in that destabilization, what might happen, okay, is where you have those agendas that can manipulate what? Through fear. Through fear. Okay, the great manipulator on this planet for the longest time is fear. But when you really are dedicated on your path, there's a point when you have this higher understanding where you no longer carry fear. That is true liberation. That is true liberation. You can go through, don't care what kind of chaos is out there, but you can hold your center through grace and ease. And not only for yourself, you're holding it and can hold it and the level of the light quotient that you hold to help others in your environment and the people around you. And I really feel that's going to be a very important role for those of us with the whole thing with disclosures. Yeah, 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 we know about it, no big deal. This is our time to step up and be that anchor and that light for people where this is going to be a shocking and life-changing event. I will tell you that the cosmic center of spiritual light, one of its goals, and I'm living long enough to see it unfold, was that we would be a place, I have it written down, we would be a place of solace because part of our mission statement is bringing to the understanding that we are a multidimensional beings and that we work with much levels of various vibrations to understand that our physical body is very limited. The little what we can interpret with just seeing and hearing and tasting and touching, so limited. Okay, the light spectrum is like this, where the light spectrum is all the way like this. So we become to understand like these little vehicles that we in is very limited, which forces us or encourages us to move beyond the physical constriction and understand indeed that everything is vibration. And if everything is vibration, then we're able to move beyond the gravitational pull of this planet. We're able to go beyond in consciousness into other frequencies, other realities, and so forth. So many of us have been on this for a while, even if you're new intrinsically, if you are what the Gnostics call a pneumatic, okay, you already have this awareness embedded in your DNA that's more activated, say, than the general population. So when this comes, you want to have something that I want to share is called the spirit of truth. Now, what is the spirit of truth? It's in Aramaic, it's in Hebrew, it's in Greek. Why we have different languages, different vibrations is really if everything is vibration, is attune ourselves with the higher light vibrations. That's where we want to go. The higher light vibrations. You can actually align with these higher frequencies, integrate it into your field. And one of the ones that are now available, which I feel we all need, is the spirit of truth. And in Hebrew, it's Ruach HaAmet. Ruach HaAmet. Ruach HaAmet. Now, that corresponds with what the Gnostics talk about. And what's happening now? Well, they found the Nag Hammadi, these 32 scrolls that were hidden for almost 2,000 years. They found the Dead Sea Scrolls. They have the Pistis Sophia. They have the original Coptic Christians that will, like in a generation, their father or their grandfather knew of the time of where Jesus the Christ was there, and they wrote about it. So it's like your grandfather telling you a story. These are the earliest documentation of what happened, and it is very different than what we have been told. Very different. And then you have to say, if you understand the way of the world, and see that there's competing forces over here that want to take charge, you have to ask yourself, why did they hide this information? It was deliberately, it was a heretic, like right now, book burning. And if you're not thinking a certain way, you can die. Uh, that's nothing new. That's been going on forever. And there was great resources and great intention to suppress this information. But as I've always said, the truth always has to come to light at the divinely appointed time. And I've taught a little bit about the Gnostic Gospels, but they keep on popping up around the world at different times. I always there was a game, a kid's game, where I think it's a hammer. You have to hit these popping up. You have to hit it, right? It's like the Gnostic Gospel. They keep popping up throughout the ages, right? They keep on popping up, and it's popping up. And very, very right now, it's becoming into the awareness. I actually go online. I see many people beginning to talk about it, beginning to have access because we are in the age of Aquarius, which means we are in the age of communication and information, and always predicted those things that have been hidden will come to the light of day at the divinely appointed time. And we're in that era right now. We're in the era of the Holy Spirit. So those things that have been hidden are now beginning to bubble up. So we have a larger awareness and understanding than we did before. So I want to just say this Gnostic prayer, okay? And if you could look a little bit into Gnosticism and what that is, if you're not familiar, you could go on our website. I did teach a course called Hidden Knowledge, The Awakening to the Truth. And I'm going to be doing an entire series on that. It's time to get this information out there. So be sure to go onto our website and you can ask about it, but it'll be out there. But I want to say this prayer and share this with everybody online as well. And I just love it because it says, I am the spark of divine light, eternal and beyond the grasp of the false gods. There's some people that are legends in their own mind, thinking that they're the all in all. You have the tech gods, you have the AI gods, okay? Those are the false gods. We have to be clear. This God that we're talking about is part of our divine light. And it says, I stand in the fullness of truth, untouched by the illusions of the demiurge. And the demiurge, you could say, is like the program that wants to keep you thinking a certain way. With the power of what? My inner knowing. And I really have to emphasize, we're going to have to depend on what? Our inner knowing. That's how we're going to get through all of this. It says, with the power of my inner knowing, I pierce the veils of deception and see the world as it truly is, full of divine presence and limitless potential. There would be those forces that want to keep you small, keep you in fear, and keeping you constricted. We have to tap into our true origins as to who we truly are, that that pleroma, that pneuma, that spark. That's the truth of who we are. And that's what we have to call upon that. I call upon the light of the pleroma to guide me, shielding me from the grasp of the archons and anchoring me in the sacred knowledge of what? My true self. It's not the body. This is not us. We're just working a body, but this is not who we truly are. May my soul remain free, my mind unclouded, and my heart unwavering in the pursuit of what? Gnosis. What's Gnosis? Inner knowing. You have it directly, completely directly. Nobody can tell you do it. You know it is in your bones. It's called Gnosis, direct knowing. And the eternal truth of the one. I stand firm, and so it is. So, with that, for everybody that is on Facebook Live, I'll end in that beautiful prayer. Be sure to visit us on our website, ccosl.com, or on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel and also on Facebook. Lots of information already there, lots more coming down the pike. I want to mention that on the 22nd of July is Mary Magdalene's. It is her feast day. We did a powerful initiation in Sedona with a Mary Magdalene initiation. We're going to do that here in Sarasota that has a Stargate. We also are sitting on very powerful crystals connected to Atlantis, and that's going to be on the 25th. So if you have an interest in that, just go into our website, look for calendar of events, and you'll find it there. With that, I'll say namaste, beautiful family of light. We'll see you next time.